do your song so I can...
Okay, so I'm going to go first. We're still getting Gino on the mic. My first song is Pink Matter. This is off of Channel Orange. Channel Orange was the first Frank Ocean I had ever heard. And to be honest, this song is just straight sex. Like, I'm not even going to lie. It's called Pink Matter, so that's sort of self-explanatory. But he goes through different colors throughout the whole song that portray different things. Like, the opening line talks about gray matter in his brain being like a container for his thoughts, and then he's having like a conversation with like a sensei, like it's a karate class or something like that, and he asks what like a woman is and whether or not that's just like a container for a child. And so like the whole song is just talking about spirituality and talking about things that are bigger than themselves and sort of questioning, like, is there more than just our thoughts? Like, are we more than just human?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then Andre 3000 in this was probably the best verse, top 10 verses of all time, in my opinion. Like,
his verses are crazy.
Just crazy.
I love him and Frank together. I don't know how Frank always gets him on a feature, because I know...
Are you on? I don't think you're on.
Yeah, I know, but I was just...
Okay. Gino's talking to me, but I don't think any of you guys can hear him. But, anyway, I'm just going to let this song play real quick. Alright guys, what you just heard was Pink Matter by Frank Ocean. Yeah, that song, I'd say is the most classic, like, slow R&B song that Frank has. Just when you think of, like, 2000s R&B, like, you're thinking of, like, real slow, real smooth, real sensual stuff. And Frank on Blonde sort of stayed away from, like, the typical real deep, slow, like, sexy vibe. And it was more of, like, intricate, whereas Channel Orange is like all about that. It's all about nostalgia.
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying. I remember it was freshman year. The first Frank Ocean song I ever heard was Pink Matter, and Kobe told me, like, you need to listen to that whole album. Like, that whole album is just like that. So whenever I listen to Pink Matter, it just reminds me of freshman year. And it's like, I know we both hated that Spanish class, but
oh my goodness.
Dude, all we did in that class was just talk about nonsense.
All the I'm getting some memories I can't bring up in that class.
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, we're not gonna talk about that. Anyway, next up, we have Gino's track that he picked to talk about Frank Ocean.
I decided to start with Provider. This is like one of the new singles that he released with Chanel and Biking.
This is back when Blonde Radio was a thing, and every time he performed like his like podcast, sort of like what we're doing, he'd drop a new song at the end, and Provider was one of them.
I just remember staying up for this one too. This one kept getting like pushback.
I do remember that.
And everybody on Twitter was just like, dude, we gotta stay up. Frankie's gonna drop a song, we know it. Like, Chanel came out last week, and Chanel's amazing.
We knew something new was coming out for sure.
Exactly. So, I just feel like those three singles, Chanel, Provider, and Biking, are always gonna have a special place in my heart.
And Lens was during that time too.
Yeah.
Lens wasn't as good as any of those, but
I think the remixes
with Travis.
With Travis, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But talk about Chanel. Talk about what the song means to you real quick.
Chanel or Provider?
Provider, duh. That's the song.
Because I can get into Chanel.
Yeah, here we go.
Provider, I don't know. I just really like his, I don't know how to describe it. It's not like really a flow, but I just like the melody and just how the song goes, and I don't know. I just really like that. I don't know how to really describe it. This song is like hard to describe without listening to it.
Frank, I've noticed recently on a lot of his songs, in the verses, he'll talk about whatever, just to sort of paint a picture of, like, the times and, like, what his life has been like. And then the chorus is something that you can sing along to. Like, on this one, it's, like, feelings you provide. So you're thinking about, like, all those, like, touchy feelings, like, I don't know, like, all that sweet, nostalgic stuff that you think about when you're, like, thinking of love songs. He gives you that in the chorus. But, like, same thing with Chanel. Like, he's talking about, like, Delta gift cards and stuff like that, and like has nothing to do with love. Like, but like you still are singing that because the chorus is so catchy. And so You really just have to feel this song.
Exactly.
You can only feel that shit, Peyton. So yeah, guys, that was Provider by Frank Ocean. I just want to break down a couple of the lyrics that he says. When he says, where is it at? He says, been feeling like the Lord just out of reach for me. How I feel letting man speak. How I feel letting man speak for me. Holy field, keep your ears split for me. Can't show my face if you spit for me. Spit for me. So, the Holy Field, keep your ears split for me. If you don't know that reference, it's talking about Evander Holyfield, who was a boxer, and Mike Tyson bit his ear off. So he's using that reference, saying like, watch out for me, as in like, you're gonna be hearing my name a lot, like, keep your ears perked, sort of. But I just thought that was a pretty cool reference.
I feel like Frank always has those like little references, like pop culture references. At the beginning of, it's literally this song. It's like, is you a natural blondie like Goku?
Yeah,
like,
and you gotta know Goku.
Exactly.
You gotta know some like anime, which is like some weird, young teenage, like, that's some shit Tyler would do.
Exactly.
You understand why they get along.
Yeah, so I feel like he, like you were talking about that earlier, he just throws, what were you saying? Like he throws stuff in there, like during
just to like, to describe like the times, you know, just to like, he tells everyone what life has been like for him lately, and then he gives you a chorus that you can relate to, with a line like, feelings you provide, like you're gonna think of that one person that is in your life giving you like
those feelings.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. All right. So next up, we have Biking. Oh man, this song is too good. This song was released with a film. It was about only like a 25-second film, but it was looped when Frank Ocean released it, and it just shows like a bunch of just young, very picturesque, moving images of like blonde, like people that look like Frank Ocean, like with their hair dyed like green, like on a couch. Like one dude's celebrating his 30th birthday, another one is biking, one's like holding a goldfish, and just like real picturesque stuff. And the song just plays with that video just looping over and over and over, and it's really like a mindful song, really about biking, because when you're biking, you're feeling like you're experiencing all the senses. You feel the wind in your face, you feel the sun, you feel the freedom of the fact that you can go wherever you want.
Yeah, I feel like I remember this song too. We were talking about that earlier. How every single Blonded Radio, he was dropping a new song. But I remember before this Blonded Radio, he dropped the video you're talking about right now, and it got like everybody excited, and we're like, oh my god, we're gonna get another song. But no, I know exactly what song. And then when we realized, well, you're playing the solo one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember when he first dropped it, and it was like with Jay-Z and Tyler.
Yeah.
And you're just like waiting to see what they were gonna bring to the track
Exactly.
And then
and Tyler's like obsessed with bikes. Like all of his songs are like he has a song. Is it 48? Where at the end it's Frank and Tyler, and he's like, I just wanna ride my bike.
It's Slater.
It's Slater.
Yeah,
Slater.
Slater. That's what it is.
Yeah, but Tyler's been all about bikes. He always he has like music videos with him and A$AP Rocky on bikes together, and so like biking is definitely a big like youthful thing in the Odd Future group.
I feel like that was pretty like you just said, it was pretty evident in the earlier days for sure.
Exactly.
And I mean, one of the covers to Wolf, Tyler's literally
He's
on the bike.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Exactly. So that's what the song's about. It's about freedom. It's about just letting loose, all that. Alright guys, that was Biking, the solo version by Frank Ocean. One line I really like in that song is when he says something about he's like, I'm up, mom, I promise. And like that's another thing where he just portrays like a scene we can all relate to, you know, just sleeping in, like your mom or dad banging on the door like, get up already, but they're not walking in, so you're like, yeah, I know, like I'm up. Like he's painting some real high school, like youthful vibes there.
I feel like whenever I listen to that song, I always get reminded of the when he was performing. I don't know which festival that was. We've watched that live so many times, but he just goes crazy on stage.
He goes crazy at the end.
I don't understand how you know what he's saying at the end, because I just think he's saying.
I had to look it up.
Oh,
I
you know,
definitely had to look it up. So if you were wondering what he was just yelling at the top of his lungs at the end of that, he was saying, "Got $1 million bike, got me fucked up," and he says that like a bunch of times.
And
I just thought he was just yelling just to like feel free or something like that.
That's what I
think
thought.
That's what he's sort of trying to portray, like just yelling at the top of your lungs, like true freedom. Like when you get up to the top of a hike and you're like trying to see if it echoes or something like that.
I feel that. I just remember like watching that clip, and he's just jumping.
He's just doing like hopscotch on stage
yes.
while he's screaming.
I'm so jealous. I'm like, why do you guys all get to witness that, and I can't?
So jealous.
But yeah.
So jealous. All right, so next up, G, what we got?
We got Self-Control off of Blonde.
I never heard of that album.
Never heard of that album?
No, not once.
I don't know. I came by it the other day. It was pretty
good. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think whenever I think of Self-Control without listening to it, I always get reminded of our film class and Mr. West.
I do remember that. Yeah.
We did like me and Dallas were in the same film class junior year. And we equally hated the teacher the same amount. But we did do a film. I can't remember. I think I was doing like a math problem or something like that.
Yeah, something real unrelated to the song. But like we were trying to make it very soothing.
Yeah, we were just trying to make the film more dramatic than it had to be. And Blonde had just come out, and we're like, "Yo, let's just throw Self-Control over it."
Yeah.
But
we just recorded Gino just writing some math problems to Self-Control, and you're like, "This is art."
I don't know why we chose Self-Control.
But Self-Control. Let's talk about like the lyrics and the part. This song really is very nostalgic, and Frank Ocean has a whole mixtape called Nostalgia Ultra, so I feel like I use that word a lot when I'm talking about Frank Ocean, but you know, that is Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
Frank Ocean is very introspective and very reflective on what's to come and what has already happened.
I feel like when, like you said, when you say nostalgic, there's only a few artists that can take specific moments.
Yeah, like just take you right out of your chair or your bed or wherever you're listening to and just throw you back to some point in your life.
Exactly. And I feel like, I don't know how he's able to draw on these moments so much, but I feel like there are just so many songs that he has
that he can do that.
Exactly.
And so you have to talk broad enough to where it applies to everyone, but you have to talk personally to where it's really felt.
And it's I don't know. It's just so like I don't know.
It just goes to show that like we're all a lot more alike than we think. You know, we all relate to these songs, and like it seems like it's very personal because like you relate to every single line, but then you realize like so do these 100 million people out there.
You realize that these artists aren't making these songs to relate to you and just like make you buy their music. I think what makes us come back more and more is realize that Frank is going through this too, and we can relate to Frank. We were talking about this. We were talking about
relating to Frank Ocean.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about this last week with Travis, and when we were playing Goosebumps, it's like Travis Scott. He can pull any girl he wants, and he still gets nervous.
He still gets nervous.
Exactly.
Yes. I get those goosebumps every time. Yes, like that's if you weren't tuning into that podcast, that's exactly what we were talking about. How he admits to being insecure and he makes that song like a banger, and it's like wow, like Travis Scott gets insecure when girls come around, or like he gets nervous, or like just that's awesome. So should we get into it?
Yes, get into it.
Midway through that song, Gina and I both looked at each other and we're like, damn, like that song hurts. in a good way, but a couple of notes to add to that song. I feel like an electric guitar really has like a live sound, and Frank Ocean, that's why he performed on like such like big stages, but like his sets weren't very visual, they were just very raw, and I feel like that's sort of the whole sound that he was trying to get across in Blonde, was just very raw, live, like live sounds, because when you're hearing something live, you're really in the moment, and that's how Frank portrays everything.
For sure. I think the just the part of the song, the outro, always gets me. You know, like it's like he's basically saying like, I know you gotta leave, but like give us tonight. Like let me have you for the night. I know you have someone else coming, but like let me have you for the night. And I feel like after listening to Tyler's Igor, and then just like I don't know, hearing this verse again.
We have the lyrics pulled up on the laptop right now.
Yeah.
And just to read it over a little bit, it says, I know you gotta leave, take down some summertime. Give us just tonight. I know you got someone coming. You're spitting game. Know you got it. And just sort of repeats that. And yeah, just that feeling of knowing, you know, when the sun comes up, like everything's gonna be different. Whether or not you've had to like leave for college, or you knew that a relationship was ending, and you knew that like you only had this moment to really like soak it all in. He just portrays that so well, and like that's something maybe not all of us have gone through, but you have some kind of situation in your brain where you've thought of that.
I think it reminded me of like Thank You on Tyler's album.
Yeah.
It's more of like it's like you're just thankful for everything, and you just want that one last time. You know, you want that feeling. You want to just keep that, but like you're at the point that you realize you can't keep that anymore, and you have to move on. So I feel like this is him coming to terms with the fact that he's not going to be able to have this other person anymore, but he just wants that feeling one last time.
Yeah.
And it's just, I feel like you said, one way or another, whether that be a relationship, whether that be a friendship, everybody is somehow experienced that or will experience that.
Exactly. And I feel like this song was also such like a reflection of the time that the album dropped, because it dropped around, I think, August 3rd or August 5th.
It was it was like
somewhere
first week
around
of August.
Like, exactly. And so school was starting up like very soon. And so like everyone's summer is coming to an end. And he literally says, I know you got to take down to summertime, and just give us just tonight. And Chance the Rapper has a song called Summer Friends, and the whole chorus is like summer friends don't stay. So everyone's had summer flings, and he dropped this right at the end of the summer. So I feel like this was really a reflection of the times. But up next we got
I think it's your song.
Let's see, up next we got Ivy. And I want to talk about this one at the end, so I'm just gonna let it play. Yo, low key, if you don't know the outro to that song, you probably thought Gino and I were just having a huge fight in the studio right now. The crash and bangs at the end of the song is very necessary and wakes me up. Every time I fall asleep to that song, I just have to wake up to some loud crash. I don't know if that was intentional or what he was trying to do there, but I won't speak for him. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing right there.
My dad's favorite Beatles song, it's called A Day in the Life.
I know exactly what you're about to say right now.
At the very end of the song, it's like, it's 30 seconds, but you gradually hear the piano get lower and lower, and you listen very closely. What's it called? You can hear them stand up at the piano, and like you hear them leave. So I feel like having that like extra effect. I mean, obviously it's not even close to Frank like throwing a chair across the room or something, whatever he's doing. But it reminds me of that.
Frank quotes the Beatles on Blonde somewhere. I forget where. I'll give that to you after the next song. But I guess what I wanted to say about that song is pretty self-explanatory. It's about love. He says, I thought that I was dreaming when you said you loved me. Started from nothing. Knew I could hate you now. And he just talks about how talks about being blindsided by love when it first came, and I feel like you never really know how deeper things are going to get until you're already there, and you have no idea. So love always hits like a train. Like, you don't know when or how like far things are going to go. So like you can't prepare for it. You can't see it coming, really.
Like we were talking about earlier, Frank is perfect at painting a picture of nostalgia, and I feel like this song is the perfect
Yeah.
way to like describe those post-relationship thoughts. I mean, if it's a good relationship.
Yeah. This
But,
song
you
was
know,
#1 on my Spotify Top 100, just in case you were wondering what kind of year I had in 2018.
I didn't realize it was like that, but okay. No, but like you said, it's just like it hits you out of nowhere. You know, it's just like I thought, like when he says, "I thought that I was dreaming when you said you love me." It's really like that. I don't know if that also.
It really do be like that sometimes.
But like.
Moving on to the next the next song. I think we got Thinking About You by Frank Ocean. Another classic love song. Very old school. Not old school, but sounds like a Chris Brown sort of style R&B. Like it's actually like R&B. I feel like Frank Ocean is so far beyond what anyone else is doing in R&B and using live sounds and instruments and orchestras and stuff like that. It's rarely the R&B that we think of when you think of a slow rhythm and a deep like 808. But Thinking About You is all that, and so is all of Channel Orange.
For sure. I think obviously Thinking About You is what put Frank on the map. Like obviously he had released Nostalgia Ultra, and what was the Lone
Lonnie Bro tapes or something.
I never really listened to how do you say it? Lonnie Bro?
Something like that,
Yeah, I listened to Nostalgia Ultra, but I feel like Thinking About You was like that. You know that song. You know it's like Logic's 1-800 or like Kendrick's Mad City.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
true. That's true. That was the Frank Ocean song. I mean, it made the Vine potato food. She was disrespectful to Frank Ocean. So,
But yeah.
if you ever quote that Vine, I hate you. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
But we'll let the song play, and we'll talk about it after.
So, Gino, I think the most confusing line in that song was when he was like, I got a beach house I could sell you in Idaho. Because I was like, I've never been good with geography, but even when I heard that, I kind of knew. I was like, wait, hold up. Explain yourself. But if you think about it, it makes sense. Like he's talking about having nice things as a famous person, not having like a person to enjoy them with. You know, like I have, I don't know, like I have this beach house, but it's in Idaho, so it's not like real. Or like he says, I got a fighter jet, I don't get to fly it though. I have all these nice things, but no one to really share it with.
I don't get that.
So, yeah, that's my only point that I have about the song. It's just a classic song.
Really is. I think once everybody goes through that, I mean, some people are lucky enough to, you know, fall in love for the first time and then have that person the rest of their life.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's luck. You know, you don't know if it's lucky or not. But like, I feel like most people can relate. Like, you're always gonna have those feelings for the first person. You know, it's just like, I feel like this is another nostalgia song. It's crazy when you like. Really,
the amount of times we said nostalgia.
That's what I'm saying. Like Frank Ocean, just like
someone come up with a better word than nostalgia.
Yeah, just like I feel like we've been saying it so much. But,
do some research and give us a better word than nostalgia.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, classic song, real reflective. And I thought the world would. I can't. No, I can't. I can never. Yeah, I love Frank Ocean.
I feel like every time I listen to that song and I like his verse comes on, I do the same thing he just did. I try to go as like low as I can. But it's like the build up throughout the song, you know he's gonna come. I don't know. I don't even want to do it, but I don't want to do it.
Alright. What do we even have next? I just looked at it. We have Raph by ASAP Mob. I'm pretty sure he wasn't even mentioned as like a feature when the first time I saw it. Oh, maybe he was. I'm just an idiot.
I'm pissed he wasn't in the music video. I'm pissed
yes.
Because this song has Rocky, Cardi, Quavo.
Playboy Cardi, not Cardi B.
Quavo.
Shut up.
Lil Uzi Vert and Frank, and I'm pretty sure the only people that were in it were Rocky, Cardi, and either Lil Uzi Vert Quavo. There was only 3 out of the 5.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of
Frank wasn't
kind
on
of
it.
threw me off.
But anyway, Frank can rap. In case you don't know, he has the last verse on this song. So yeah he's got bars. That was Purity by Frank Ocean off of A$AP Rocky's Testing album. Gino and I both agree Testing is very far up there in like favorite albums of all time.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure it was top 3 for us.
Of 2018.
Yeah, Dallas and me and Dallas do. Dallas is usually the person that sends it out, but every year on Twitter, we always post our favorite albums of the year.
Our top 10 favorite albums of the year.
I think it started as hip hop, but like as the years have gone on, it's just like favorite. It doesn't really matter. Like whatever list you make, you make it. But it was definitely in both of our top 3.
It was. I think we both went Astroworld. No, you went swimming. You went swimming, Astroworld, KOD, and then Testing, I think.
It was something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
Those were like our top. Those were both of our top 4 for sure.
Astroworld, KOD, Testing, swimming. But Testing. A$AP Rocky talks about the meaning of testing in Kids Turned Out Fine music video when it transitions from Kids Turned Out Fine to Changes. And he talks about how he feels like everyone he looked up to was like a testing subject, and how all of the things that go on today, like with the power of technology and social media and just how crazy the world is, he feels like we're all test subjects to whether or not like we're being tested to see if we can even withstand how crazy the world is getting. And so testing is also in the literal form him testing new sounds, because like there's one song called Guns and Butter, and like the whole melody is just gunshots. Like he's just pioneering new sounds too.
Literally the intro track, Distorted Records, the very beginning, it's just like how Tyler starts Igor.
Yes.
It's just like I don't even know how to describe. It's just a loud sound.
Distorted bass. Distorted bass is very loud, and he really made it work though. We talk about artists when they change their sound and still making it work. You know, like Kid Cudi sort of fell off with Speeding Bullet to Heaven. Like he changed his sound. Yeah. And it completely flopped. And only like the greatest artists can change their sound. Like Drake from what was right before the Views, I guess, like Nothing Was the Same.
Or if you're reading this,
from that to Views, going from
straight
real like
rap.
6 side like Toronto like experimental like real trap drums and stuff to straight like Jamaican, Caribbean
like
summertime
feels,
style, and he nailed it. Like a lot of people agree Views is his best album.
For sure. I feel like you said, Rocky's whole message with testing was, we're all being test subjects, like you said. But if you really think about it, like everybody, no matter what you're doing, like you are being tested. Maybe it's not by a certain somebody, but like everything you do, if you do it wrong, everybody around you is never going to do that again. So it's not like you're being tested, like somebody is writing stuff down and evaluating you. But like, I don't know, it's just trippy. Like the way he described it in Kids Turned Out Fine, the video, it's just like everything you do has a consequence or has a result because of it. That doesn't necessarily mean everybody is watching your every move, but you need to, just move at your own pace.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Definitely check out that music video if you like A$AP Rocky. Just want to say, Ben, Peyton, and Brielle, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Really like talking about music, so we do it more for fun. We've done a whole podcast where no one was listening.
Yeah, the last podcast, nobody, I don't know, for the last couple, but...
Like we said, it's going to be up on YouTube.
Yeah, it'll be up on YouTube. Clips. We're going to be figuring out some clips to post, but just thank you guys for tuning in. This is our 3rd one, so we're still...
we're still getting better.
Still getting better. I feel like we get better every time. I feel like we go more in depth every time. I feel like we're just getting more comfortable with this whole Stationhead thing. Yeah, for sure. So thanks for bearing with us, and just thanks for tuning in the whole time. It means a lot, to be honest.
It does, it does. Especially for the whole time like that. Like, you guys have better things to do, I'm sure. And you guys are tuning in, so big ups. But last song we're going to end with is Chanel. I don't know if you can hear my deep breath right there, but this song to both me and Gino really means junior year.
Junior year, second semester.
second semester, springtime.
Spring after basketball season.
After basketball season, baseball season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just there's a lot of stories we could tell about this time
I could
in our lives.
Tell so many stories that I have.
So many moments where this song was playing during an iconic moment in our lives.
And it's like you said the other day, like Dallas literally brought up a memory, and it's crazy. It just came right to me. I hadn't thought about that in forever. Mm-hmm. Like he talked about how we had this song on loop from our school to Chipotle and then back to our school for a baseball game. And I just completely forgot about that. And right when you brought it up, I literally got right back into that moment.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. I was just like, wow, I haven't thought about... I mean, every time I hear this song, I get put back into that
time zone.
But like, you put me back into that specific moment. It was crazy.
Yeah. We were definitely both. One of us was actually like in love, and one of us was chasing it.
Yeah.
I'll let you to believe and know which one is
which.
But yeah, just good times. I feel like that whole situation for both of us sort of went to shit, but there was a long time that we agreed, and we were like, yeah, I'd give up anything to go back to those days.
Those days, yeah.
Like up on the baseball field during spring, like I would still...
Skipping...
Junior year in high school, like all that shit sucked. It really did, but like, yeah, skipping basketball, PE.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Coach Shannon, if you're listening. I did skip lifting a couple of times to hang out at the baseball field. You did end up catching us, I think.
Yeah,
one time.
Sure did.
But yeah, like Dallas said, I would do a lot of things to have one more of those days back.
Me too.
One more of those sits period.
I swear, that's one of those like lunch table, like just laughing so hard that you're crying. Those sort of moments with some really special people. But yeah, so Chanel definitely means a whole time period for me and Gino. It means different things to different people. It's also one of the songs where he paints like where he's at in life during the verse, and then during like the outro of the hook, he just says, "It's really you on my mind," and of course anyone can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a lot of people think it's about being bisexual because it says "I see both sides," like Chanel. The Chanel logo is 2 C's. One's backwards and one is forwards, but they overlap, so there's 2 C's. But yeah, a lot of people treat it as like a bi anthem for seeing both sides, and Frank Ocean is definitely bi, so yeah, there's also that layer to it.
Yeah, I think we should just play it. We can maybe say some more after.
Alright, this pretty much concludes our podcast of breaking down our favorite artist, Frank Ocean. We've been waiting for this one for a while. We knew like as soon as we started we'd have to definitely talk about Frank Ocean because he means so much to our lives and very influential. But yeah, that song is sort of Gino's and I's go-to. So
for sure. I feel like the other night, I feel like we were talking about we hadn't listened to it in a while, both of us. So then when we played the other night, I think it was like, it was just nice.
We were kind of quiet.
Exactly, we were. Playing. It was just like, we let it play. It was just one of those songs where like, you can obviously sing along, but I feel like a lot of Frank's songs, you just need to listen sometimes. You just need to let that hit you. You just need to feel that shit. You just need to feel that shit. I don't know what that means. I want to be a part of it. At Payton.
At Payton.
But me and Dallas, our idea for the for the people that are in here, we wanted to do Tuesday albums / artists. Like last week we did Igor, and now we're doing Frank, and then Thursday we were just gonna do some tracks that were on.
Yeah.
But Dallas is selfish, and he's deciding to go to a concert on Thursday. So I think we're probably gonna do it on Friday. Yeah, so we'll do it on Friday. We'll have another show on Friday. Yeah, thanks again for everybody that tuned in. This was a lot of fun. Like Dallas said, Frank has had an impact on our lives that'll always be there. And it was a lot of fun talking about him. And I hope you guys heard some songs you liked. Maybe we put you onto some new songs. Maybe you got some more intellect on the songs that we like.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Some insight. And that's it. So Yeah, we need something to sign off on for sure. Something like that's not
cheesy.
That
was that GD podcast. Catch y'all later.
Stop it. And we're out.
We're out.